with Bloomburrow finally around the corner, and yeah, every main set card revealed, I think it's time to talk about the new keywords and mechanics we'll see in MTG's newest set. So, right off the top, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 keywords and one new mechanic. The keywords are Offspring, Valiant, Forage, Expand, Gift, and our mechanic is Pawprints. So, off the top, I'm going through each of these little words, showcase one or two cards, and explain the mechanic itself. So, let's start with Offspring. Offspring is a mechanic which gives you the opportunity for additional costs to play a 1/1 token copy of the creature you just spelled. So, if we cast a creature like Coruscation Mage, which is 1 red, 1 mana, with Offspring 2, we may pay an additional 2 mana as you cast this spell, as we cast this spell, and if we do, then this creature enters and creates a 1/1 token copy. So we get our Coruscation Mage with an effect, which reads, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent, with 2/2. And paying our Offspring cost, we get an additional token, which has the same main effect. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent, but it's a 1/1. Important for the mechanic of Offspring is that we pay the Offspring cost, but the mana cost of the token we just generated is still the mana cost of the original card. So, if we take a card like Rust Shield Rampager, which is a 1 green, 3 mana, Offspring 2, this creature can be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. We can pay an additional 2 mana and create a token. A Offspring token, same effect, 1/1. But the token is an identical copy of the main card. So the mana cost of this 1/1 token is 1 green and 3 colorless mana, not 2 colorless mana, which is important for some effects. And I think that's Offspring in a nutshell. Next, we have Valiant. Valiant is kinda easy to explain as a nerfed down version of Heroic. So, a classic Valiant effect is if a creature you control is the target of a spell or ability we control, or sorry, let's clarify something here. It does not have to be a creature we control. If a creature is targeted by a spell or ability we control, which in the main course of these effects will be a creature we control, but I know there's an gameplay grayscale where it could be that you target an opponent's creature. But if we target a creature with our target spell or ability, its Valiant effect triggers. Like in case of Seedclave Mentor, Valiant, whenever Seedclave Mentor becomes the target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, put a 1/1 counter on it. And there we have the nerf to Heroic. Heroic is basically an effect like this without the first time each turn. So in most cases, we have a buff which triggers once per turn when we target our creature. And that's Valiant. Next is Forage. And Forage is... how can I say this? Forage may or may not be the keyword of this set. So, Forage effects trigger, or a cost for trigger effects, like do something, and if you want to do something, the cost is to forage. And to forage means to either exile 3 cards from your graveyard or sacrifice 1 food. And food is something we have to talk about, I guess in particular, if you want to take a closer look at Bloomburrow. Because there are many cards which either create food or turn things into food. Which is exactly what Forage wants to see. So, for an example, if we think about a Forage text like Osteomancer Adept, it has a tap effect. Until end of turn, you may cast creature spells from your graveyard by foraging in addition to paying their other costs. If you cast a spell this way, that creature enters with a finality counter on it. So, we have the opportunity to summon something from the graveyard. Let's say we have a nice monster which has a nice on-play effect. And we have the opportunity to make it into food. So we can cycle it again and again. Have 2 of them on play. Sacrifice 1 as a forage effect. Play the other one. And so on and so forth. But I want to say... so this is the main loop for Forage. And I want to say I want to make an additional video on forage and food generation in Bloomburrow, so stay tuned for that. I think it will be out around the pre-release of Bloomburrow, so next week or beginning the week after that. Next we have Expand. Expand is a really basic effect, let's say. So the base effect is you expend X mana as you you expend X as you expend your X total mana to cast spells during a turn. So let's take a look at a card like Junkblade Bruiser. He has the effect whenever you expend 4, so he's on the field, and we've expended 4 mana or more. Junkblade Bruiser gets +2/+1 until end of turn. Basic. Really basic. And nice for ramp decks, which are just spitting out mana left and right to ride on and have a benefit besides mana in additional effects via Expand. Easy as that. And now, Pawprints to save the gift mechanic for the finish line. Pawprints are a modal resource. So we have cards like the Seasons. In this case, let's look at Season of Weaving. Season of Weaving has the effect to choose up to 5 Pawprint worth of modes. Once you may choose the same mode more than once. For 1 Pawprint, draw a card, 2 Pawprints, choose an artifact or creature you control, create a token that's a copy of it. 3 Pawprints, return each non-land, non-token permanent to its owner's hand. So we could say, okay, for 6 mana, we draw 5 cards, or create 2 tokens and draw a card, or draw 2 cards and return each non-land, non-token permanent. to the owner's hands. Or create an artifact and return each non-land token. And so on and so forth. That's the idea behind Pawprints. And now, the group hug mechanic. Gifting. Gifts are, let's say, for the kind-hearted, friendly commander players that we are. Gift has two main mechanics behind it. Mechanic number one, we can amplify or change a basic effect which our card with gift has if we give a benefit, in big columns, benefit to another player, which may be a real benefit or a subpar benefit. So, for example, let's imagine a round of Commander with 3 or 4 people. And we take a look at a card like Parting Gust. Parting Gust has the gift effect, gift a tapped fish, a 1/1 blue fish creature token. And the main effect, exile target non-token creature. If the gift wasn't promised, return that creature to the battlefield under its owner's control with a 1/1 counter on it and at the beginning of the next end step. Which means we can play this instant to save our creature without gifting anything. If we just say no gift, we play Parting Gust, we take our creature off the board and next turn it comes back around with a 1/1. Nice and simple. But the exile effect is not exile target non-token creature you control. It's exile target non-token creature. So, if we gift a tapped fish to our opponent, we can permanently exile one of his non-token creatures. And he gets a fish, which is a nice gift. Or let's say we are group huggers. We play Commander with our best buddy. And we play Octomancer. Octomancer has Gift an Octopus. You may promise an opponent a gift as you cast a spell. If you do, when it enters, they create an 8/8 blue octopus creature token. And at the beginning of each end step, create a token that's a copy of target creature token that entered the battlefield this turn. So, let's say, hey, you buddy, you've earned your octopus, but I'm gonna copy that octopus. And it will be my octopus, as well as yours. Or we don't give the octopus and just play Octomancer and copy another token we created this turn. Which is just fantastic. Gifts. So there you have it. These are our new mechanics in MTG's upcoming set, Bloomburrow. I've gotta be honest, I like them. I like these mechanics. None of these sound like they may or may not be that broken or that powerful or that unplayable. Except maybe some things with food and forage. But hey, as I said, maybe in another video like next or the week, next week or the week after that, sorry. But right now, I'm happy. I'm happy with these mechanics and I hope you're happy too with them. And if you want to know something more in detail about any of these keywords, put it in the comments. I'm happy to talk about them a little bit more. And what are your thoughts about each of these new mechanics in Bloomburrow? Put them down. Write about them. Write about your favorite card. Tweet about them. Write them in the comments and play them once the set is out. And until then, I'll hope to see you in the next one. Have a nice day. Have some fun playing some card games. And with that, Murphy signs out.